Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're doing some installment. It's gonna be myself and of course Aeon. He's gonna be installing my weakness, which is electrical. I'm gonna get it installed and replacing these Cali raised ditch lights. I had those for quite a while, a little over 3 years now. But you know, I got the Baja Designs for free. Some reason, I don't know, I might have won a contest or something, but it just showed up at my door and now I have it. So now I'm gonna be all Baja Designs, exterior, because I do have these Baja Designs here for my fog lights, and then the light bar right here. I'm also running Baja Designs here in the back, right there. That's for backing up, ultra bright, and that one is my chase light. So yeah, I'm gonna film a little action here for that installment, and later I'm gonna get some maintenance done. Not really a maintenance, but switching things up and adding a little bit of lift. I'm thinking about 1 inch of preload there on the shocks, and I'm also going to correct the orientation of the shock mount here in the top, because it was incorrectly installed. So I'll explain that later when we get started. All right.
What time that place closes, but we might have to just take a break and go get my alignment done.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
Okay.
So Aeon is what do you call this process? Crimping?
So yes, I'm crimping new connectors because your dish lights right now have the Deutsch connector already, and personally I prefer these to the these type of connectors that Baja Design provides. Number one, I mean, these are pretty good if you don't have to wire them yourselves, because the wiring is pretty tedious on these ones. So I just prefer the Deutsch connectors, so I'm just gonna convert it to Deutsch connectors here, so we can just plug and play, not have to worry about anything.
Boom. Tidbit, guys, tidbit. I like to repeat myself twice like Trump does. So Aeon's going ahead and heating it up. Heating up that rubber connection. That should seal it up. Right here, he's just installing the bracket into the actual ditch bracket. That's on the side here. You can see from that side down here, so that makes sense. So we're just getting it done, and we're gonna try to face it out more to the left or right. I'm not really 100%, but whatever makes it clear the hood whenever we open it up is fine with me. It doesn't necessarily have to be canted a certain way, although that would be the purpose of the ditch lights, right? For it to kind of cant to the left and right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so at this point, once it was all wired up, which Aeon just did, pretty simple. Just tighten it up now, remove the other lights on both sides, and that's it. And we did the testing of the light and they work perfect. Here, I'm gonna show you real quick. And there you go, got some light. Cool.
So we are trying to get the shock off the shock tower, the 3 bolts on the top hat, so that we can slide the shock body out.
It was a pain in the ass doing the back one. but we got the one in the back out, and we're gonna need one of these handy ones, the flexi head ones, and it's a 14 on the top shock. So you want to use that in the bottom and use one of these wrenches to break it off. It'll make your life a lot easier, because it's a pain trying to reach here in the back. It's pretty much broken off now. You got it now. Okay, one of my New Year's resolutions is to be more self-sufficient, be able to handle some of this stuff on my own in case I do break down on my own when I'm out on a trail, or just generally if you're stuck somewhere, you know, have some kind of knowledge of how to work your own shocks. But that was a pain in the ass trying to take that off, because there was a lot of tension on the lower shock mount. So you know, we know what to do now. Next time we're just going to do the top first. We're just going to completely remove the top shock first. Then we're going to remove the lower control arm like we did there. Remove the lower control arm. Get the limit strap off, because that's what's causing all the tension on the shock. And then from there, you're off. You know, it slid through. I didn't have to take off. You know, this is what I wanted to avoid, is having to take off my tie rods or my CV axle. I just didn't really want to mess with it. So, you know, that was one way. But now we're going to get working on this other side. So, stand by. Okay guys, I completely forgot to do the video of the compression of the springs. But anyway, I wanted to share with you guys what I think you should be using if you're going to do your own spring compression. You should get one of these Amazon style McPherson type of compressors. These are really good for, you know, do it at your home, because first of all, it's very cheap and they're actually very safe. You know, all you do is you know, there's different types, you know, like this is the one that it's, you know, the 2.5 or the 3-inch springs that I have. These ones are a little bit bigger, so if you have bigger springs, and obviously these ones are much bigger. But pretty simple operation. You know, I was able to, what I like about them is they have these plastic covers, so it actually protects your spring from cosmetic damage. But it's pretty simple. We already did earlier, totally completely forgot to do it, but the way it goes is just like this, you know, and you put it in there, tighten this thing up, compresses. You'll see that it seats. These are totally safe compared to the strut compressors that go on the side that you have to tighten on each side to make sure that there's enough compression, and you kind of have to do it one at a time, and you know, that's a little bit unsafe. Some people don't like using that because it's a little bit scary, and you know, people have gotten into accidents with them. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos involving those. But these ones are pretty good. You just put them on, make sure that you do it right in the middle. We kind of struggled for a little bit. We tried to figure out which way it was to put these on. We should have read the directions, but the directions are pretty clear. You want to kind of try to put it right in the middle, so when you compress it, you know, this shock rod end here, it's not going to move too much, and kind of, you know, position in a way where it's going to be harder for you to put it back on when you take off the spring cup. But all we did was just decompress it, removed the tension, and then I just added 5 turns, which is equals to about an inch of a lift. Just wanted to add some preload on mine, since it's kind of nosediving a little bit, or it's kind of sagging in the front. So that's what we did. Pretty simple thing, but you know, my first time doing it, but I got it done. Felt pretty safe the whole time. It's seated the whole time right here. These things are just really gonna catch it. You see these things, and of course, you know, you don't have to use these plastic covers, but it really does protect the springs and make sure that, you know, it's still cosmetically good, you know, for you moth crawlers out there. But it works out just well. And yeah, we did that. And oh, forgot to mention, so I removed this. It was a little tricky removing these because these were mounted upside down. And yeah, we figured it out. But I kind of used the I'll show you right now. What I did is I used the 19 and kind of just held it this way and used the tension against the top hat here while you use the Allen screw on the other side. Well, actually, this is the Allen screw side, and then this is where you hold it up like that and kind of just use this as leverage. So a little bit of a technique I just came up with and just thought about it on the fly. But otherwise it would have been impossible trying to figure out how to do it. But it all worked out. We got the preload on, and now we did this upside down the correct way, correct orientation according to JD Fab. We're going to put it back on tomorrow. Kind of became a pain trying to remove these shocks, but we were able to figure it out. And we were just really worried about the tension that we were gonna have, but overnight it's just gonna sit like this for now. Put some straps in there, make sure that, you know, this I just don't want my brake lines to be too extended, so I'm holding it up right now. Same on the other side. So I'll leave it on a jack stance tonight and do the rest of it tomorrow, put it back on and see how it goes. But yeah, really happy with this new Baja design. Pretty cool, and it's actually counted to, you know, to the right and the left now, much better. So it's an actual ditch light now instead of the way it used to be where it's kind of facing more forward. So yep, that's it for tonight, and we'll get going again tomorrow. Alright guys, day 2 of the install. I'm gonna put the springs back on. As I mentioned yesterday, I added a preload 1 inch, both sides. What I'll do is I get started with the passenger side first. So I'll probably do here is jack this lower control arm after I put on the shocks up there. So I'm probably gonna do the shocks up here first, put it on the top, just like how I did it last time, the first time, and kind of just leave like a bolt or two in there. The one here in the rear is gonna be really tricky because of where the location is at. It's gonna be a little tricky to try to put it in there, but I'll have the shocks hanging, slide it through here, and then what I'll do next is line up the lower control arm shock mount through here. Probably need to brush this off a little bit, clean it up, make it slide easier, and then after that, then I'll probably, like I said, you know, probably need to jack this up. As you see, I just didn't want my brake lines to be a little too extended, although it does have a pretty good extension. Just a precautionary thing. What I'll do next is jack this up, put like a little wood here on the jack, and jack it up just a little bit so to release some tension. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and move this little control arm up, and then that should do it. And then yeah, of course the limit strap, put that back in, and then do the other side. So try to do a little bit of video of how I go about it as much as I can. One of the things I did just now, I know a lot of people probably don't like what I do, but it's my vehicle. Anyway, added these spacers here on my bump stop, just because I don't want to have any rubbing. Not so much on this side. You know, I think the bump stop does enough, but definitely on this side. Yeah, so a little bit of contact there. You can see where it's scraping a little bit. I really don't want to do any more kind of cutting or trying to massage this area, but that's where the tires rub a little bit, and a little bit right here too. So I'm going to grind that out a little bit with a flat disc, and you know, spray paint it, and yeah, go from there. Hopefully no rubbing after that. I don't think it's going to make any contact up here. It's pretty deep up in here where it was cut, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But definitely making some contact here. Not anything down here, but you can see kind of in this angle it's kind of sticking out a little bit. I wish it was just cut a little bit more there, but it is what it is. Like I said, yeah, that's the current bump stop I have on it right now. Got these timbered ones that look kind of funky because they kind of stick out a little bit more, but it shouldn't cause any problems. So yeah, put those on. And what I did is I basically got this up a little bit more to upper control arm to create space. What I did is I snaked the remote reservoir first through here, under here, and then I put it on the side, and then I was just able to slide this. And then what I kind of did is I just kind of used my leg, my lap, to kind of just use it as a jack stand while I put this in, because you know, obviously I'm a one-man operation right now. But if somebody's helping you out, it's a lot easier. But if you're doing this yourself, you kind of have to be creative and just kind of use either a jack stand, or in my case I just use my leg, and then I left this on top, and then I just kind of bolted it through. So they say try to tape it, but it wasn't really necessary for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tighten these both up. That way, when I know this is tightened up, then the back should be lined up, and would make it easier for me to use this flexible head to go under. I'm going to use the bolt under, because it's going to be really tricky if I try to do it this way. So I'm going to use the bolt under, and then you know, I'm probably going to see if I can tape this washer, because the tricky part is the washer, keeping it in place. So I'd probably just tape the washer in place, and then try to line it up on the hole as much as possible, and then I'll use the bolt to try to thread in. It's gonna be a little tricky, but they said that's the tricky part of doing this for the JD Fab kit coil bucket. Progress of what I'm doing here. Got the angle grinder going. Ran into this issue, so as you see, I just fixed this one. Remember, it was oriented the other way around, like that. I actually changed it to that, and the way it's supposed to be is over there. And the reason for that is because this right here, if you take a look at it, if the shocks were to move left or right, it's not gonna, this is not gonna allow it. This collar right here is too thick. So the one that JD Fab has allows for an articulation, because there's just much slimmer and allows you to move more freely. Just not a whole lot of, first of all, there's not a whole lot of space right here, and it's thinner. I think there's the ones that they have on their website has it all the way down to here. So there's free movement there, you know, whenever, you know, the shocks are compressing up and down. So I had to put it back to this again, but that said, I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna use this to sand down the area I showed, which is this right here. Just sand it down a little bit, not too much, but enough so there's not enough rubbing there for big ass 39-inch tires. So that should do it, and we'll get back later. Alright, so as you see, grinded it down just a little bit right here, not too much, I just enough. And I'll probably grind it down again if I'm still rubbing there, but right now it's pretty good. Just this little hair here, and I'm gonna spray paint it and observe from there, see if I still continue to rub. You know, just do it one at a time and not do too much damage. All right, here's a little tip. Tape that washer, and that should, and then you obviously put the nut in there, and hopefully that's going to make enough you know, ability for this to stay put, and you're able to snake it through a lot easier when trying to screw it over. So see if that works. Alright guys, so what I showed earlier, it did work. It really worked. Easy. Just tape it. Don't waste your time. Just tape it. Tape the damn washer and nut on the socket, and it's gonna hold in place, and then you just easily put it in. So you see right there what I'm touching with my index finger there. So got it in. Obviously hard to see it in the back, but the nut is down there. So that's all set. It's all torqued up now. Got it in. A little bit of a pain to try to put the shock on, but we got it in. So yeah, looking good. All right guys, got the tires on. Torqued everything down to spec, so it's kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can turn some lights in. There we go. But yeah, put the torque marker kind of right there. Same on that side too. Sorry about that. It's kind of, yeah, there you go. So put the torque marker there. Torque marker there, obviously. Torque marker there, you can see it from this angle. Same in the rear here. Torque marker there on the lower ball joint. Torque marker on the lower ball joint, and also there the lower control arm shock. So there you go, and up here as well, and obviously here in the back too. So hit everything up, made sure that everything is torqued just back, and obviously it's a little high right now, but you know, I just let the tires down, so it's, of course it's gonna be high, but I'm gonna drive it, kind of bring the shocks down a little bit, and that should level out.